Hi everyone, Anne Bounty from Said With Love, and thanks for joining me today. It's the 1st of March and oh my goodness, it's the next release of the next block for A Year of Hearts. I've been loving how much you have been loving all of these blocks, and I'm having such fun designing them. So let's just have a quick recap. So this was the first month, cute little party bunting, and then this was the second month, Home is Where the Heart Is. I actually made a couple of these blocks, doing different things, trying different things. I had fun doing the free motion raw edge embroidery, just raw edge applique, just for something a little bit different. And here is the next month. This is a library of hearts. These are cute little books, and instead of titles, we've got some cute little hearts. And I've done some raw edge applique as well, but this time with my machine, doing little zigzags around the edges so that there's no raw edges. And I just love this one. It's an easy block, nice and fun to get in and find some cute fabrics to use. And in fact, I don't know whether you'll be able to see very clearly, but this one is actually a selvage. It's from Schmoll, from Ruby Star Society. So I had a ball doing this one. And so much so that I made a couple of them. So the next one, I just went straight for all my pinks, cute little pinks, and I tried that free motion raw edge applique again. Still don't know that I'm 100% a fan, but you've got to try these things a few times to see whether you improve or you like it. So I think that might be the last time I do it. Who knows? We'll see. So that's my next one, the beautiful pinks. And then because I was playing with the selvages, I actually got my tin of selvages out. Hang on, I'll go grab them. My tin of selvages comes in a tin. Oh, it's a bit hard to read with the light. There you go. Dear. And so I've been collecting selvages pretty much since I started full-on quilting in 2015. And I have just got so many amazing selvages. Got to say, Cotton and Steel, Ruby Star Society do the best selvages. They're quite nice and wide. You can read it. They always have funny sayings or something on it. But so many fabric collections these days have some really lovely things on their selvages. Here was a cute one from Holiday Express that I... depending on what I'm doing in my patterns and my making is I will, if I've got yardage, I'll actually cut the selvage off first before I start cutting my pieces for the blocks, etc. So you've got to be a little bit careful. Obviously, you don't want to use too much fabric left on your selvage because you might not have enough to do your blocks. But if you've got plenty, I like to leave a nice big piece. Obviously, this one I wanted to get quite a bit of this particular thing. For this one, I wanted to get the little lemurs, but for others, it just depends. So this one, I think, was actually cut off from when I finished the quilt, the edge of the backing. So, that was cute, but seriously, I have selvages coming out of my ears. So this entire tin is full of selvages, and I have 3 more like it. So anyway, when I did that little selvage of the Schmoll in my library, I sort of thought, what a fantastic idea to, let me get that out of the way, to then make one just of selvages so that the selvages look like the spines of the book, and therefore the collection name is the title of the book. So I then did this one. So we've got Sleep Tight by Sarah Watts, and A Field Guide by Janet Clare, and Front Yard by Sarah Watts, and Correspondence by Tim Holtz, and Day Sale by Bonnie and Camille. What was the last one? Oh, Catch and Release by Mr. Domestic. So, I just thought that was a bit of fun. Now, this one's not going to go into my quilt, my Year of Hearts quilt. I'm thinking this one might be made into the front of a library bag for one of my great nephews. We'll see. Maybe it'll go on the back of my Year of Hearts just for a bit of fun and giggle. Anyway, so if you are a newsletter subscriber, you will have received your email this morning, and there's a coupon code in there so that you can get the block for free for the first couple of days of this month. Check the coupon expiry date on the newsletter. For everybody else, you can go and download that block and have a bit of fun. I've already started making and doing all the work for next month's block as well, which is going to be a little bit of fun too. I'm just loving it, having a ball. Okay, so today I want to do something a little bit different in that I wanted to talk about some of the other things that are happening in the quilt barn, some things that I'm working on, some fabric that got delivered. Actually, let's go to the fabric first, right? Okay, so the fabric that got delivered most recently here in the quilt barn is Old Glory. And oh my gosh, I love it. I just, for some reason, these colours, the blues and the reds are just absolutely stunning. The blues are actually showing up a bit bright on camera. They're a bit more muted and soft. It's a lovely, lovely mid-blue. Some stunning prints in there. Now, I've done a quick reel on Instagram, and I'll pop that as a short up onto YouTube as well. Forgot to do that. Going through all of the fabric in the charm packs. In our shop, we've got charm packs and a couple of fat quarter bundles still left, but we also got this cheetah panel of these fantastic New York beauty blocks. Now, I've just cut off a strip for myself because what I want to do is literally just play with a block. But I think it's sort of like about a yard repeat, and it's just an all-over pattern. And I'm just seeing this with some fantastic quilting in it, perhaps with a nice thicker thread. Speaking of which, 8-weight Aurifil is coming out and literally is sitting at the post office waiting for me to pick it up today. Susie Quilts has worked with Aurifil and her new fabric collection called Evolve, and they've made 8-weight, so quite thick Aurifil thread. Can't wait to show you that. But I'm thinking if I can find some colours in there that will work with this. The colours of Evolve and Susie Quilts is sort of more the muted naturals, sort of the browns and greens and things like that. But hopefully I'll find something that goes with this. If not, I'll be using a 12-weight or an Aurifil floss or something like that. Just have some fun. So there's that. So there's some links in the caption below to come buy these things from my shop. But if you're not in Australia, there's a link to buy it from the Fat Quarter Shop, which I'm an affiliate of. So, okay, so that was Old Glory. The other thing, whoa, man, this is a big one. And I haven't even opened the plastic on this one yet. If I can, there we go. Is Vintage. Vintage by Sweetwater. Now, if you've been following along for a little while, you know that I'm an absolute Sweetwater addict, fan, tragic, I don't know what you want to call me. So there's Sweetwater. And again, perhaps probably got the light up a bit bright. It's a very dull, overcast kind of day here today. So, but lots of beautiful prints from some of their older collections. So what I've been doing with Vintage is, let's just pop that out of the way. There we go. You remember Hearty Patches that I released in the middle of February. So this is the cover quilt that I did first using Shoreline, which is, we had some early release pre-cuts, so we had an early release layer cake. But this one, oh, so gorgeous, has been going off like a frog in a pond. So many people on Instagram have been loving it and been buying the pattern, which is wonderful. Thank you so much for all of that. So this one is gorgeous. I just love it. It's seriously becoming one of my favorite quilts of all time. It's simple. It's not too hard to make. It's a lovely beginner quilt, but it's got hearts in it and it's got these beautiful colors. But when my early release pre-cuts of Vintage came, I saw that there was a layer cake of Vintage. So with my layer cake of Vintage, I've created Hearty Patches in Vintage as well. So just loving this. Oh, thread. Occupational hazard for a quilter. So it's just gorgeous. I love the little checks, the beautiful flags, the texty from, I think that was from Authentic. It's just gorgeous. It's just that lovely sort of country muted colours. Can't wait. So I have had this quilt top done for a little while now and started to think about what on earth am I going to put on the backing, because at that point my fat quarter bundle hadn't arrived, but it has now. But I'm still thinking, instead of using the fat quarters from that to make a sort of a bit of a scrappy backing, I got out my feed company Project Sweetwater box, and I'll put a link so that you can go and watch the unboxing of that to see what's in that. But it has these large panels. I think they were yard cuts with, I think, 4 different fabrics, 3 or 4 different fabrics on from feed company that they reprinted for us. So I've used that, one of those, as the middle of my backing, and I'm going to put some older bits and pieces around the outside. So it's sort of going to be a pieced back, but not too much piecing involved. So that's going to be my backing for my Sweetwater Hearty Patches. So I'm looking forward to getting that quilted. Now, what else has been happening? So that's all the fabric that, oh no, it's not all the fabric that's been arriving. The other fabric that we had arriving is water from, let me just get the lights off that, water from Ruby Star Society. And I just fell in love with these blues. I don't think I've made a blue and white quilt for a while, but golly gosh, it is just so gorgeous. Again, I've done a quick reel of those colours and the fabrics to show you all of those, and I'll again pop that up onto YouTube Shorts as well. So that was fun, and I can't wait to see people making things with that. I have mocked up Hearty Patches in water as well as in Old Glory, so that you can see what it kind of looks like in some different fabrics and things, so you can get a bit of an idea of perhaps what's in your stash, a layer cake that you've got lying around, perhaps sort of see what it looks like. Okay, what else can I give you an update on? Oh, I splurged the other day and bought myself some things from Missouri Star Quilt Company. Missy from the Little Green Bean has a fantastic coupon code for Missouri Star Quilt Company, and she is an amazing quilty influencer, which of course I'm not, so I don't have one of those codes to offer you, I'm afraid, guys. But I got their Christmas box. You might have seen the unboxing of that I did. And in it, I think, I can't remember if it was this year or last year, they had these cute little, I call them an A5, sort of a smaller binder for your, whoops, haven't got any in here yet, for your smaller patterns. So I really loved it. It's a gorgeous colour, of course. And I just thought, all those little patterns, the little smaller ones that you digitally print and fold and things like that, are sitting in my bigger binders in one of those bigger protector plastic things, and they kind of don't sit very well. They kind of fall, they flop, they get too thick, and it's just been a bit ugly. So I've been looking for an alternative. So I remembered this little binder and thought, yay, because the Missouri Star Quilt Company has a whole set of them, which are awesome. So that's what I splurged on. I splurged on, let me get them all out for you. And yes, one of them is orange. Don't worry, that one will be going in a slightly less obvious place in my quilt barn. So there are all the different folders, plus the one, that I've got here, which doesn't have a name on the end, so I can put whatever I like in that one. But let me show you what's in them. Get them off the table again. So I've got a cute little one of those little storage cube kind of things, and these fit just perfectly in it. So I'm going to have them nicely in my craft space. So it actually has a little plastic, leaf covery thing, which I'm sort of half a mind to take off, but it's actually not easy to take off. But anyway, but inside they've got 3 little binders, dividers, in different colours, so you can write on those. And then they have a whole stack of, and they're quite firm. So I don't know whether you've ever used those sort of plasticky insert things for your patterns or for, school project or something like that. But the ones that I've been using are really kind of flimsy and thin. These are firm plastic, so they'll hold things quite well. I'm thinking I'm going to put 2 patterns in each of these, one so that the cover's that way and one that covers this way, just so I can fit a few more in, because just might have a few patterns. So that's what they look like on the inside. So I think these are just going to look fantastic on my shelves. Now, what else have I been up to? Oh, life has been very busy. Ooh, I want to give you an update of my Tula Nova, my EPP. Hang on. So I was never a big EPP person. I struggled with hand stitching, struggled threading a needle, the whole works. I'm going to say I was lucky. I was lucky enough to actually get early onset cataracts. And so I've had my lenses replaced with Carl Zeiss lenses, which are fantastic. They're multifocal. I don't need glasses anymore. I can see a needle and I can thread them. Awesome. And it has made such a difference to my EPP and my hand sewing, because I can actually see what I'm doing. Anyway, I have finally gotten into doing EPP, and a Tula Nova wasn't actually the first quilt that I long arm quilted, but probably about 6 months into my long arm quilting for others journey, a local lady here, Jo, offered me to quilt her Tula Nova, and it was amazing. Stunning. I'll see if I can find a picture of it for you. I must admit that when I finished doing all of the custom quilting on her quilt, and I sort of rolled it off the long arm so that it was hanging there, I literally sat on the floor, looked at this quilt, and I cried. It was so beautiful, and I felt that I had added to that beauty as well with my quilting. So it was one of those real good moments in life. And so it was one of those things that I thought, maybe one day I could do my own, and then I'd be able to keep it. Because seriously, handing that quilt back was hard work. So I've started my own Tula Nova EPP, and it's using mainly Curious and Curiouser by Tula Pink. So here's where I'm up to so far. It's got quite big pieces, most of it. There are some small little triangles and things, but not too bad. Most of them are reasonably sized, which means they go together pretty quickly. So I've just been working on this one. I'm not designing a Year of Hearts blocks or coming up with brand new patterns and, all the other things that happen in a designer and business person's life. So my Tula Nova, loving that. Now, one more thing. I'm wondering whether to tell you or not, but I will. So you might have seen in some of the pictures that I showed of the Hearty Patches quilt and the version in Camille Ross Kelly's fabric, I had a cute little cushion. So this cute little cushion was made from the little bits of scraps left over from when you make your Hearty Patches quilt top. So I hate scraps. I rarely then go into my scrap bins and use them. I much prefer to do something straight away, and a cushion is always a nice fallback using up your last little bits of scraps. So I am working on the pattern for this, and once I have this pattern done, for those of you that have purchased the Hearty Patches pattern, I'll be adding this to your download so that you'll be able to get it for free, okay? But I will then add a standalone pattern if you want to learn how to do a full cushion, and perhaps use your scrap drawers to come up with this. So it's actually a double-sided cushion, because, I love double-sided quilts, so why not double-sided cushions? So the front is this cute little pinwheel with the sashing and things like that. And then the back is some cute little hearts as well, with just a little bit of sashing and things. Now, I love putting enclosed zippers or hidden zippers into my cushions. And these are actually Laurie Holt's zippers. So it's actually a double zipper pull. But it just happened to be the only zipper I had in this lovely colour that sort of matches the Sweetwater yellows and things. So that's what's coming next. I just haven't had a chance to finish the pattern yet. So hang tight. You will have soon a little bonus cushion pattern as well. Okie dokie. Is there anything else that I need to tell you? So we've talked about a year of hearts. This month's block, links below. And if you haven't signed up for my newsletter, please do, because next month you'll get the newsletter that has the coupon code in it that allows you to get next month's block for free. We've talked about new fabrics. We've talked about my splurgy purchases. I think that might be it. Hang on, let me think. One more thing. You're always seeing things in the background here. Do you know what these are? These are binding babies, and I get these from Shari in America. She makes them, designs and makes them, and do Hearty Designs, I think is how it's pronounced. And these help you just store your binding. Like when I'm making my quilt top, I make my binding at the same time. I've got all the fabric out. I cut and fold and iron and all that sort of stuff, my binding. And then you wrap it around on your little binding baby to store it when you finally get to quilting it, or you send it out to a long armor or something like that. I'll just go and grab one so that you can see what one looks like full. So here is one that I have got some binding waiting for a quilt that I have just finished the quilt top of. And I like to fluff them up a bit so it looks a bit like a dress. I know, this is very frivolous, but it means that my binding is sitting somewhere. I've cut the fabric. I'm not going to accidentally use it for something else and then go, oh dear, what on earth am I going to bind this quilt in for? But I obviously have a few of them because I think they're so cute. This one I used to bind a quilt most recently, and I actually made way too much binding, so I've just left it on here. And when I do the same thing for my next quilt, the next little bit of scrap, I'll just keep winding it on. And then when I want some scrappy binding at some point, I can go and grab her. Now, I have actually had in the past, I don't have any of these available anymore, had some made specifically, some custom binding babies made in my signature purple colour and called Annabelle. That is not my name, but that is what people call me when they get angry at me or, upset with me. It's like, Annabelle. So that's my cute little purple one. And I also had some matching little flower spindles made in the beautiful purple as well. And these are handy if, when you're going to sew, didn't mention that either. So when I come to put my binding back onto my quilt, I actually take off my little pin so I can get to this. And if your machine has a secondary spool holder, there's a little hole in the bottom. You can actually put it on the spool holder and it can unravel and you can be putting it onto your quilt without having to do anything very hard at all. My machine does not have a secondary spool holder. Well, it does, but it's at some funny little angle and these don't fit. So I use this little flower spindle because it fits perfectly. It's got little rubber stoppers on it. So I actually put this on the bed of my machine because I've got quite a nice wide throat. And that just allows me to pull off stuff put it on my quilt, and I'm raring to go. So anyway, I just thought I'd explain what some of those things sitting behind me were. And these cute little blocks, the fabric husband made them for me for Christmas. He thought they would make a cute little display behind my videos. So anyway, that I think is the update for March for Said With Love Quilt Barn. Have a fabulous month. Enjoy the Year of Hearts, and talk to you soon.